Yeah, where there really is no creativity in that process. So how did you just go from those lessons to discovering, DJing and being more creative with the process?
It's a very, very good question. So when I started taking piano lessons, I went through several piano teachers, right? So the goal for me, or not actually for my mom, more or less. It was really more for her at the time. She wanted to be more well-rounded, and for me and my brother to have these skills to play piano and do these recitals. She wanted to be proud and videotape the performances and stuff, It wasn't until my last piano teacher that I met. He was from Europe. I think he was in Budapest. Really, really great piano teacher. Who kind of asked me this really profound question, And it really, really made me think about things differently. He's like, so why are you taking piano lessons? That was the first thing he said to me in our first lesson. I go, because my mom's making me take these? And he looks at me and goes, you shouldn't be taking these lessons because your mom wants you to take these. You should be taking these because you want to take these. And that you are getting something from this, like some emotional response, some release. Maybe it's just it's something to get away from everyday life. Maybe it's a therapeutic thing. Music can be many, many, many things to different people. An escape, it can be, therapy for people. It's therapy for me, if I work on music, I feel like I can go in the studio for hours, and it's almost like painting. If I were just like oil painting or watercolor painting, I was just creating something, and you just get in this mindset where you're just creating. You're not really thinking about things in the other world. You're just focusing on the work that you're working on, and it can kind of take you out of like your everyday realities of life for just maybe a short moment of time when you're working on that piece. And music almost has the same effect. And you're still dealing with the principles of design, using repetition, texture, color, all the same things that apply in the visual art world can be also directly applied into the audio world. So I had just, made the decision early on that I was like, I'm going to investigate this more because it's doing something for me. I really, really like what it does to me psychologically, like it's a nice escape. And at the same time, it's like there's this fun sort of playful exploratory aspect to discovering new sounds and trying to learn how to create new sounds that have never been heard before. I've always been sort of intrigued on this mission to kind of like look at new technologies, look at new systems that can create, whether they're AI-based or machine learning-based, or they're using some new form of technology to come up with new ideas, whether that's in the applications of sound design or music composition. Extremely fascinated with all this. This is all things that I'm really interested in and like where all the directions are going in. So, but yeah, it was tricky. Yeah. With my mom, like you said in the beginning, she wanted me to take piano lessons because it was something that she wanted. And it wasn't necessarily something that I wasn't really interested in at the time. Cause I was 9-10 years old. I was like, I'd rather go BMX biking, go skateboarding at the skate park and, go catch poisonous snakes in the creek. I was really interested in piano. I was kind of at the age where I was really appreciating it. And then it wasn't until my last piano teacher when he profoundly asked me that question, why are you doing this? I was like, well, I'm doing it because my mom is making me do it. Like, you should be doing this because you love it. And there's something that it gives back to you. It should give you something back. You should be getting something back. It's not a one-way street when it comes to music. When you're performing music, it brings you something. You get emotional feedback that speaks to you, speaks to your soul, or whatever you want to say, or heart, or whatever. And you get this sensation of creating something that other people can experience, that same feeling, that emotion that you're trying to convey with this music, these musical structures, however you're devising them. Um,
Mm.
and it's communication. It's
Yeah.
a form of communication that really is like, it's very powerful communication, because when you're working with primarily instrumental music, a person in India can hear the track, a person in Afghanistan, China, doesn't matter where they are in the world, they could still experience that emotion and the feeling and the idea and the concepts that you're putting into this piece of music. I found that compelling. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I was just making music so that I would pass the recitals that my mom was recording on her video camera so that she could be proud of her son. But then it dawned on me. I was like, well, let me look at the big picture down the road. Say I keep going along with this and then I start making my own music. What would my goals be? Like, who would the target audience be? You know, like I would have to find what it is that the kind of music that I make, what it is about me is going to make me unique and different from other artists. You know, I just didn't want to be just another, you know, how do they call them? There's a term for the, you know, just the typical, you know, like techno or EDM DJs where they're like a dime a dozen. They're all following the same fads, playing all the same tracks, just tracking Beatport's top 10 playlist, and then, you know, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what your goal is, you can do that. I just didn't want to be one of those people. I was always one of those people that really, really wanted to always move forward with like the latest technologies and really, really pushing things to like the edge, like right up to that limit to where it's almost like, what is this guy doing? You know?